Hello, and welcome back to Center for Community Radio. We are talking today about the CV-19 virus. We have been very fortunate to have Senator Casey with us, Representative Struzzi here locally. And we now have our Indiana Area School District Superintendent, Mr. Michael Vuckovich. Michael, are you there?
Yes, ma'am. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you today?
I'm doing well. Thank you for asking.
Thank you for bearing with us. I am so excited to have you on today because we have so many questions, both as an educator and a parent that have children in the district. I have been getting lots of questions as far as the technology, school, when is it going to start, teachers, just a plethora of questions. I'd like to start with what's happening with the schools and when is the official date that students are going to have to start preparing assignments or start assignments.
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, let me start off by saying thanks for giving me the opportunity to have this platform to help communicate and over communicate our plan. So, to get ready into your questions, teachers started yesterday. So, March 30th, 31st, and April 1st, we're using those 3 days to allow teachers to plan, get the distance learning lessons ready, and it'll start on April 2nd for students.
Okay, so April 2nd is this upcoming Thursday. Parents should be aware that teachers are going to start giving assignments out and communicating with their children about assignments.
Yeah, what we've been doing, I think, is a nice job doing small iterations of communications on a daily or every other day basis, letting the families know leading up to April 2nd what's all at stake. For example, we put out there a guide for families. One of the main platforms we're going to be using is Google Classrooms. So we released a parent guide to help them through this transition. We've been communicating on a regular basis. Tomorrow, we're going to send out another communication about video conferencing, what that looks like for the district. So April 2nd is when the plan goes live. It's our continuity of education plan. We're going to have an asynchronous approach, but there will be also opportunities for teachers to have live interactions and sessions with their students as well, or simply record some lessons and send it to kids. But mostly our platform is going to be asynchronous using Google Sites and or Google Classrooms. And then the students who do not have access, we're going to provide them some paper copies, packet copies, and get that to them as well, either through the US mail system or I'll hand deliver them with me and my administration.
Okay, so again, for students without reliable access to the internet, what are their options?
One thing we're going to do is we have two options we're working on. One, we did a survey of our families to ask them who had internet access and maybe who needed more Chromebooks. So one thing we're doing is we did that survey. We're breaking down the data, and on this Thursday and as well as next week, we're going to have two remote pickup sites during the breakfast and lunch giveaways, where parents who signed up and been approved can come and get an extra Chromebook, and those who may not have internet access, we're going to give them hard copies, packets of the information that those kids may need. Now we know who exactly those kids are. Our guidance counselors are also working hard to finalize that list, and we're going to have those two options available for our families.
Okay, so there is an option to pick up a device if in fact you do not have one. I know, for instance, I had a grandmother who was taking care of 4 of her grandchildren, and they do not have any device in their house as far as a computer. And she was kind of worried that if they go, to a full tech program, how is that going to affect her? And so you're saying that, go ahead.
I'm sorry. This is a real issue of equity, right? Facing the whole entire Commonwealth, not just Indiana County. Mm-hmm. So our board's taking that quite seriously. And again, like I said, we have 200 laptops ready to go for those families who have signed up and need them. And that's depending if they have internet access. We also provide information about Comcast and other resources out there for families. And then the last effort is the hard copies, the packets for those who don't have internet access. So we're doing our best to accommodate, right? Meaning giving resources out, whether it's Comcast and other information about free resources, as well as our own Chromebooks for from the district for students to use. And then lastly, the hard packet. So we have 3 alternatives we think are ready to go.
Wonderful. What type of technology did you say was going to be used?
The main platform is going to be Google Classrooms and or Google Sites. So when we talked to our teachers, there was real value and real thought behind the teacher's perspective, saying, look, I want to provide personalized learning as much as I can to our kids in a way that's meaningful, the way that we can have connections, because what we're telling our staff and each other is now's the time to choose compassion over compliance. So we want to do something that is flexible, something that gives flexibility to family, the student, as well as the teacher, and something that hopefully, progresses us towards our growth of mastery of standards, but also is reflective of the need of our families at the current time. So we want to make it personal. We want to make it related to our programming, our curriculum, and Google Classrooms and Google Sites allow us to do that.
Okay, so, and right along those lines, what do you say that those parents have a little bit of fear of technology? They're not familiar with Google Classroom. Will there be a site or anything available for parents for
Yeah,
support?
no, that's a great question. There's a couple things we're going to do. We're going to one, already start the conversation of reaching out to families, and two, we have direct, I'd say, virtual office hours available for families that allow us to help them go through that as a partner with them, not just at them. And then we also have our IT department ready to go answer and address any questions. I would say this to anyone watching who has some reservation, and I get it. I understand that completely. As a father of four, I understand what that feels like right now, that stress. One, call us, and that's either through phone, that could be email. We have a setup now where our phone calls go right to our email. So if we need to get that out to someone, we have that capability, and we want to reach out to you and address that and understand that we're a partner with you. We want to help you. And with our IT department, with our teachers having multiple modes of communication, we think we can definitely help that. But you're right. This is going to be a real challenge for a lot of people. And that's why we want to go slow to go fast and start out by being supportive, being compassionate, not just choosing compliance, but choosing compassion to help them as just an adjustment for everyone, even our youngest learners. I got to argue, you got to worry. I'm really worried about our K-5 kids. How can we support them? And our teachers have done a great job being flexible, being available, and being supportive to help families as well as our learners get what they need.
I had one parent ask specifically about the pre-K program. You said the kids that are pre-K and kindergarten, will they also be expected to do work on on the computers, or how is that programming working? Knowing that children learn best hands-on, pre-K and and age 5. Like,
Yep. Now, what we're doing at the K-3 level, we're going to do a Google site for parents to access with some different resources, lessons, and videos for families to view. It's a hurdle, right? It's not insurmountable, but it is a challenge we're facing on. And I would tell any family who has those questions, reach out particularly, and specifically your child's teacher, because it's going to be special for each and every classroom. But we are aware of those concerns, and we're working to address them and adjust them. And by the Thursday, I think parents will have a lot of clarity we need, but we'll also in return admit fully we're going to make some mistakes as we go, but we know this is a partnership and we know it's not insurmountable, but there'll be some hurdles as we go forward, because you can't replace the face-to-face relationships. I think if you're going to talk about the quality of teaching, quality of teachers we have, they're amazing, but I don't know if you can start with balloons until you address Maslow's needs. So we're starting there by connecting, reaffirming those relationships, rebuilding them, and we're going to build it out gradually from there. There will be hurdles, but our teachers are working hard to address them.
Coming from 2 parents, and maybe 3 I've heard throughout the week, if their children have IEPs, and we know that's a big issue. I know certain school districts had to wait to actually get online to try to figure out what they're doing with students that have IEPs or GIEPs. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Good question. What we're having going on the next 3, yesterday, today, and tomorrow, we have our teachers reaching out to those students who may qualify for said services and reaching out to them how they can provide FAPE to the best of their ability and what that looks like moving forward. And that can include the direct office hours, video conferencing with the child, doing accommodations and modifications via the video system of Google Hangouts we're going to use as well. So we're working through that out. And since there's so many different needs and how they may vary from one student next, what we decided was take a more personal approach where each case manager is calling out, reaching out to that family and that student, help build a plan that fits and works for them.
That's wonderful. So the idea of an individual education plan is to individualize it, and you're doing the best, given the circumstances, to make sure that those students are still getting individualized care from the district. That's greatly appreciated. Can you also talk a little bit about more on a macro level? Since this is the very first time that Indiana Area School District, I know, that I would know historically, this is the first time they've ever gone full tech for any reason. Can you talk a little bit about some of the problems that you faced or that you are, anticipating facing in the future, and how do you think you're going to be able to solve those? Much more macro level.
No, absolutely. Good question. I think there's really 2 big issues that stand out to us. One, capacity, right? The capacity of our students, our administrators, and our families to adjust to this new online platform. Schools aren't closed. We just now have to deliver it in a different format. And I think we have the staff and the community that's willing to be get through this hurdle and this learning curve. So I think that's the first one. How do we build capacity in our students, our staff, and our families to be able to adjust this new platform in which we're delivering instruction? I think the second thing is equity. How do we really address the issue of equity? And coming from my previous background, inner city school district, I understood very well what equity means. But I think you also have the same issue out here when you look at the rural school districts in the rural areas who may have limited broadband access, limited access to a computer. So those are our two big hurdles. How do we address the capacity side of things, and how do we address the equity side of things, all the while maintaining what we think is the hallmark of our district, which is two things: high expectations and hope for our kids and opportunities for our kids. So that's what we're going to keep striving forward. But again, capacity and equity, I think, are the two biggest challenges we're facing right now that we're working fast to address and improve on a daily basis.
Great. I'm glad to hear that. We could have a year-long conversation about equity with inner cities and rural areas, and how, and so oftentimes they do meet somewhere in the middle. Things like this really bring out some of those issues. Basically, I guess to tie this all up, I'd like to ask, how can the community support the school district and students during this time? If someone wants to help with the school or help the school district, or just parents who, say, we understand that our teachers, this is new for the teachers, new for the district. How can parents best support what's happening, and how can they best support the transition, both for the sake of the teachers and the sake of their children?
Yeah, I think number one, and this may sound silly, and I apologize if it does, but number one, just continue to be a great parent. I'm blessed to be a superintendent of a wonderful community where the parent involvement is quite high, and there's true love, care, and compassion for their kids. So one, continue to be a great parent, provide that love, and meet those needs. I think before we start talking about algebra and biology, we need to make sure that our kids' social emotional needs are met. So I think that's number one: be there for each other, be there for your child, and that includes being flexible with us. We're going to make mistakes. I'm not going to hide behind that. We think we've been over communicating to this point. We think our planning is where it should be, but we're going to build some of this in flight, and we surrender to that. So the second item, again, I'd ask is flexibility. And the third item is to continue to believe in each other, and most importantly, our students and our teachers. I think we have a great staff, and we have a switch we're going, and we're going to make that adjustment the best we can. And there's going to be bumps along the way, but I think it's not going to define us, right? What we're going to do is make mistakes, but our ability to overcome these issues and these hurdles is what's really going to define us. And I think we have the right staff to do that, and definitely the right community to do it. So we're going to learn. And I will say this: if there's another piece of advice I give parents, if the amount of work we're giving is causing stress due to the amount of time it's taking to complete it, just stop it. Call your families or call your teachers, talk to us, work with us. And that's why we're really doing the asynchronous approach, because we understand that there may be other obligations that families have to abide by or adhere to during the day. And we understand we want to give some flexibility. So communicate with us, right? We believe in transparency, but it goes both ways. So if there is a need, reach out with your child's teacher and talk to them about what your needs are, what your concerns are. And I assure you, we're going to do everything we can to address those needs to the best of our ability.
And I guess now finally, I was driving the other day, and one of the seniors stopped me. They're like, "Oh, Dr. Moore," and they wanted to know what's happening with their senior year, and not just them. I think all of the kids in high school. Can you talk a little bit about what the rest of the year looks like? And I know there's nothing in stone, but just to kind of soothe the emotions of some of our seniors, some of the children that are missing their friends at school, missing their teachers in general, concerned about senior graduation and things of that nature. Is there any information whatsoever you can give them at all?
Yeah, and this is where it's hard. I want to be completely honest. No, we're taking it month by month. As you know, the PLA postponed all spring sports. As you know, the governor extended the school closure indefinitely. You look at the national level, President Trump put a hold on, increase the social distancing until the end of April. We're taking it month by month. Did I cancel graduation or prom at this point? No, I didn't. Are we going to be flexible and monitor the situation and be ready to go if we have to make a decision? Yeah, we have to. I know that comes with much hurt, and it breaks my heart to do that if we have to do that. But we don't want to hide behind, misinformation or mislead people. That's a real possibility. So I really can't provide clarity. Is it our goal to have graduation still? It most certainly is. Will we have that opportunity? I don't know. And let me explain a little bit further. Just recently, last night, we had a board meeting where we extended our calendar, improved our calendar, which we made the graduation night, the last day of school for students on June 5th. So right now, that would be our targeted date for graduation. We're working with the Vuckovich Center to see what can be done in that area, and we'll see what happens. But to sit here and say yes or no, we're going to have it, I think would be misleading. But I assure you this, we're going to continue to communicate, let people know where we stand. But I think we have to go month by month. Right now, we know this. At the national level, April 30th, the social distancing guidelines have been put in place. We're going to follow that, and we're going to continue to monitor the situation and let our families know. Again, I surrender the fact that may not what people want to hear, but I'd rather be open and honest than mislead anyone at this time.
Wonderful. And we really appreciate all of the clarity that you did bring today, being open and honest with us, transparency. And I think that's what we all really need right now, is our leadership really to help us, navigate such uncharted territory right now. We thank you and we appreciate you for all of your time. Can we have you back as well anytime within the next month or so?
Whatever you want. When you get me, you get my son. My son's in the background playing Mad, so he comes with me. We're a package deal, okay?
He's welcome too. That's fine.
Fair enough.
Yeah, thank you so much for all of your information.
Yeah, take care. And then before I go, visit our website, check out our social media. We have been just hammering the amount of content on our social media to families. The only problem with that is if people follow us, right? So the communication only works if people are following our sites, checking us out and seeing what's out there. And we do have a great deal of information on our website as well as our social media feed. And anything you do to help spread that word, I'd greatly appreciate it.
Oh, yes, no problem.
Thank you.
Thank you. Take care. Godspeed.
Well, that's our show today, our episode 3. I want to really thank our guests today, Representative Struzzi, Superintendent Michael Vuckovich, and Senator Casey, County Commissioner Shireen Hess. Sybil, what's on your mind? What should we be thinking about for our next show on Thursday?
I think we're going to be discussing some of the mental health issues that may be occurring right now for those who have had mental health issues in the past, or even now, people that are just beginning to feel stressed. This is like cabin fevers, being cooped up in their house with family members, not able to get out into the community to talk and to share. So we're going to talk with some mental health professionals. What are some good ways to deal with that? Also, the supermarket situation. You go to the bathroom, to the bathroom section for toilet paper, and there's no toilet paper. What are people doing with something just as simple as that? Hours. I know some stores are now having elderly hours where the elderly people come in first because the disease is more deadly to them. They come in first. They are able to shop. They then sanitize everything, and then they let the rest of the community come in. So how do you shop locally here in Indiana? Mental health, and hopefully we will get people from Aaron Intermediate Unit coming in maybe, and also some information from Indiana Regional Medical Center so that we can get some information specifically about this virus out to our local community.
Yeah, I think those are our topics. We have invitations out to IRMC. Today we weren't able to, they weren't able to provide us with anyone. And we are also reaching out to folks at the Alice Paul House thinking about domestic violence, possible issues during this time when folks are in. We often open this up for questions. Brandon, are there any questions out there in Facebook land while we still have these folks on the line?
Well, we had several, there were many questions about testing, and I'm glad
Yeah.
we got to that. I opened it up and going through, not seeing any, but in the meantime, I know Shireen wanted us to, Commissioner Hess wanted us to share the Indiana website, Indiana County website. So I'll do that now. And Commissioner Hess, if you want to say anything else about that.
Sure, thank you for that. We do have a few resources on there at indianacountypa.gov. And the one that I think is helpful is how to apply, how to file for unemployment compensation. And it takes you directly to the Department of Labor and Industry. And there's a number of other things on there. So just wanted to give a shout out for that. And I guess I want to also say that I've seen all great websites and web pages, Representative Struzzi and Senator Casey and the commissioners and the EMA or EMA. Just everybody's been really, the district really working hard to get as much information out there as we can. You can't have too much information. You just can't. And there's, you can't get it out there enough. So we're working hard to do that. We know we have some gaps to fill, and we're all going to work hard on that.
Thank you, Commissioner Hess.
Thank you.
Representative Struzzi, is there any last thoughts you'd like to leave with the people of our area?
Oh, unmuted.
All right. Yeah, I think that, it's so important. And as I said earlier, we are blessed with some of the best people anywhere in Indiana County. We all need to stick together, to be patient with each other, maintain the social distancing, wash your hands and be smart. But I think that we are truly blessed in this community with the people that are here, with our county leadership and everybody that's stepping up and providing for their friends and neighbors, doing the right thing. And I think there are going to be a lot of positives that come from this once we're through it. Obviously it's exposing a lot of gaps and weaknesses that we have in our preparedness for something like this. So I think there's going to be a lot of good lessons learned. And as I said earlier, our offices are here to help, and we want to be your resource for anything related to state government as we get through this. So thank you again for putting this together. I truly appreciated the opportunity to be here today.
Great. And thank you to all our guests. That concludes our episode 3. We are going to be coming back again on Thursday, April 2nd, 4 p.m. We don't have the full lineup yet, but we're hoping to hear from IRMC, folks in mental health, and downtown Indiana. And so thank you very much, and we're signing off. Are we off?